Hey, Don here. I'm gonna do a little bit more on my video series here. I'm checking make sure everything's up and going. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll switch on over just straight desktop. Things are a little slow here. Yeah, we're using 58% of CPU. I thought about rebooting this thing. I thought maybe it's got maybe needs to clean out the memory a bit, but like say the video memory, because this is a Windows system, you can run days on Linux without that problem, but Windows is still that way. Guess I better keep an eye on it. It goes back down to like 38, 40. I don't know. It's staying. Only thing I got extra open is this Total Commander File Manager. It's not really a high resource thing. Let's leave it as it is for now. Probably won't make a long video. Okay, here's one of my my latest install script. This is all the apps I had on the IBM Fedora 21. I'll just hit View here, open it up, and it actually, the word wrap must be automatic in this program because for it to work, it has to be all of one line. So don't ever save one like this, because it won't work in a YUM or I'm sure DNF. But see, that's all there is to the script. Bin bash inet yum space y space install space dash dash skip dash broken. Then you list your apps with a space between each one. Like I said, it should all be on one long line. And at the end, you can have a return if you want. It doesn't matter either way. I figured it out. I don't remember where I learned that, but as far as how to get all these app names, I didn't think about that. I have a blog post on my blog that tells how I do it, but there's a command that'll do that. I found it somewhere, online. You could probably find it just by going to Google. You can find it on my blog. My blog search, I have a search on my blog, but it's not the best. Let me look at my resources again. Trying to think. Check my stream. Okay, it's still working, but not great as usual. Okay, I'm gonna go. See if I could actually do that. Trying to think. I think I'll probably find it quicker in my. I was right there in my favorites. Probably find it quicker in my favorites. There's a search in here. Kind of have to jig around here to get to the right place. Let's see. That's what I call it. YUM apps list. Let's see if I get anything. That looks like I got some stuff. Okay. Let's just go into some of those files. Okay, here's my Google search for YUM command to, some of those are on my old server. YUM list apps. I have it saved. I have it everywhere. Okay, so finding it on my blog. That's why I'm kind of embarrassed to tell people go to my blog and find it, because I can't find it in my stuff. I think, and what's funny is sometimes I'll actually find, when I'm looking for help on something in Google, I'll find it there on my blog. Like, let's see what happens here. Okay, Don's favorite Fedora apps list. Nope, not in my blog. Okay, well, I'm not going to go doing a complete search thing here. Because I believe I can find it. Oops, come on. Cooperate here. I'm gonna go over here to Crusader on my main machine. And that's my backup downloads. What am I in on the other side? Downloads. So I love twin panel file managers. You can see I can hit home and go to the top, DOC, documents, hit enter. Yeah, maps, install files. Oh, I already copied that whole thing over to this machine. Oh well, I can read this pretty good. Let's see. I just have to find. There's a lot of them in here over the years. I've got some PDF in there, Yum command cheat sheet on Windows machine, so I have to do it in that remote desktop. Gotta find, it's really tricky to navigate. Okay, I'm gonna get back over here in Crusader since I was telling you how much I like the Crusader, and I'll click on open the terminal here. Doesn't really matter where you are for this. And right click. I think I can right click in there. Yeah, there we go. It's just slow. Oh, gotta hold it down. Paste. Hit enter. Takes just a little bit. Probably wouldn't hurt for me to make one. Well, that's my other system. I've made it on this system I don't know how many times, but you know I change things sometimes still to this day. So it takes a little bit to list, you know, like 3,200 apps, but it'll make it pipes them into a text file. And once you get your text file, go back over here. Well, that's working. For instance, well, let's just go over and go to temp, where it's going to be temp. And I'll just do it. And I always organize mine by the newest, or well, I change it all the time, but I usually leave it on newest. There's my Yum list text file. I think it may be finished. Gonna have to wind around here and find out if my there's that terminal. No, that's not my terminal. That's my running apps. It shouldn't have shut though, just because it was done. That's why I'm saying what's going on. Oh, it's hidden. Okay, see, it's finished. So you can close that terminal window. It doesn't give you any readout saying where I'm done. It just goes back to the command prompt. Get back. That's my desktop background. It was a screenshot of a show I was watching about cars. Okay, now there it is. Now that's in downloads, and I need to move. What I do when I want to get back to, actually let's do it the easy way. I have some shortcuts up there. Hit that takes me to home, and then I go to documents, Yum, apps, install files, go back over here and just copy it. You can't see that in this window. See, normally of course you can see the whole window when you're on that. But, yeah, okay, it's gonna copy it over. There it is. Okay. Fedora 14, Yum apps list. I used to say Yum app and Yum installed apps list, but do whatever makes sense to you. That's what I named that machine, and I want to know what operating system it is, and then I always put a date on there. 03, 05. Yeah, see, sometimes I put a period in there, but that will break it up to where really what happens is I don't think most of them will install right at all. You'll get too many, it'll get too dodgy, you know, you won't get enough stuff installed properly. So, like if you're doing a 64-bit machine, you probably can't, you'd have a hard time doing this. But if you're going from one 32-bit to another 32-bit, you'd be fine. And you do want to watch out about your video drivers, because they're going to be in there too. If you have an NVIDIA, say, video driver, and this is the wrong one for your card, and if it, most of the time they just lay there and don't do nothing, as long as you've got the right one already installed. But like if you do have one, because there's already a whole list of them, you know, that comes when you build your system. Once in a while, you might have a little problem. I had that happen once on a laptop, and I ended up having to go in the command line to uninstall it. So you broke the GUI. So once in a while, you can't have a problem with that. But I'm going to say OK there, and it'll open it up here like that. Keep rolling. See? So finding the end in here is going to be a little tricky. Let's see if I can roll really fast. That's 2700, 2600. That's getting, actually, what did I say I had? I don't have 3500, or maybe I have 2100 or something. I don't know what system I had. I thought it was this one that had that many on it. So anyway, what happened? I must have hit the button. Hit cancel. Yeah, I think I hit a button on the I hit the center button on the mouse too hard trying to roll it. Let's see what that's like. I still haven't got to the end yet. I guess I have to keep rolling. Man, that's kind of a pain. Wish I knew how to make this fit the screen. This is not my usual. I wonder if that one does it. That's full screen. I don't want that. It's kind of hard to get out of it in this program. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna go over here. I think I was closer to being in the right place. Oh, that's not how many apps. That's how many lines you have. Saw something odd about that. I'll just hold down the up arrow key. I was getting tired rolling that mouse. I didn't accidentally delete. Oh, I'm not far enough over, you doofus. I'm all the way back up to the B's. Yeah, so that should be pretty close. There's some empty lines and stuff which you have to delete, and I'm sitting there rolling back and forth for nothing. So and you're watching, you know, over to the right, you're watching to see that there's not any more words showing up. If you get any more stray, sometimes there's just one or two little words or letters over in those other columns. Sometimes they'll be further over than where we can see right now even. There's 1,000 and something. See, we're only in the G's. So I was probably closer to the right place when I was way down there to about 2,000 and something. I think it was like 3,200 or something. That's what I was thinking. P. Yeah, so we're just in the P's now. They are in alphabetical order, so that's good. This is really a pain. I don't know a better way to kind of stuck in here doing this. PQR, STUV, WXYZ, see. So, let's try grabbing it again. Get over here. Where's my deal? Oh, here it is. What my problem was. Tells you what number you're on, or it did. I'm gonna go, yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I'm probably too far down now. wasn't. I was getting close. Yeah. So you know, there's a few blank spaces, not a lot. So see, that's. So you're I'm already up to 3,900. There's Yum. That's close to the end. Z. Okay. So see, there's 4,031 separate lines there, and they have to be all in a line with a space between them, right? So I'm gonna hit save because that is what I want. Now this is where I thought I already had a name on that. Oh, I clicked up in the VNC program instead of the. It's like, what the heck? Save. Yeah, it should just say I want to keep current format. I want it to still say that CSV for now. Now, what do you do? I think you have to. You're either going to have to save as a text. Okay, now this is where I just go ahead and save it like that. I always save several versions in case I make a mistake. Okay, now what I'll do is say clean.text. Okay, and the CSV I might name it clean too, you know. Now it's saved as a text file. Oh, it did text.csv. That alone, it shouldn't be hurting anything. Okay, replace all. One time. Really weird. Just because I'm sitting there making a video, it's doing one at a time instead of a whole bunch at a time. And you can't really see what's going on, which is not normal. But because, like I said, because of the way I'm doing this remote desktop business. Yeah, I got one space there. Well, am I making them and taking them out? There's another character you can put in there, like a $sign of V or something. I went back up to the top. There was an extra one I could put in there, and I would do that first, and then I'd do this first and then do that or something, and it would clean it up a little better, like get rid of. You know what? I don't think it does tabs. I think you have to, but I've forgotten what it does. And the last time. You know, tabs are so much like spaces. You can get rid of them that way too by doing spaces. Last time I was fine. Which was just a couple of weeks ago. I made one off the IBM. Shouldn't have done my Red Black BioStar. It has so many. That's probably one thing. It has so many apps. One time. I don't know why it's not. I'm gonna hit find all again. I think it's just finding them one at a time. Well, it wouldn't matter. Replace all should replace all no matter what. It is. And it's better to get your list from newer machines that are closer, you know, in age to the one you're doing. Because I've tried running this script. I've already made this several times. This Fedora 14 script on, say, like Fedora 18 and 19, and it really missed a lot of stuff. available anymore and stuff. And so when you use that skip broken, then it'll go ahead and install everything that's available. So you have all these a server, and I don't have it set up. I don't have remote desktop on it, so I can't do it on the server. I'd rather be showing running my scripts on the server than this. I got into how to make the scripts. That's alright. I mean, I actually wanted to make a video on how to make these scripts for a long time. Just should have done it on a machine with less apps. I need an editor to edit for me because I don't like going back and editing. It takes so long. I think it takes a long time to watch a long video. Try editing a long video. You can skip forward, you know, in a long video, but editing, you gotta sit there and do it. I used to think I wanted to edit for a living. Found out I really didn't like it as much as I thought I would once I really got into it. I used to edit, you know, VHS tapes. I even got to learn how to use a toaster. It's one of the very first computerized video editing. It wasn't really for editing, it was for effects and stuff. What the editors were analog editors, rolling the tapes, you know. They would do. We had I actually worked at this place that did that for a short time, and I took some classes first, and I learned, you know, the basics. That place had you'd let people come in there and edit their own videos, and they had regular VHS editors, and SV had one, I think, SV video editor, and 6-core AMD with what I have 8 gig of RAM for someone. I built one for someone. They pay, you know, they bought it, and I put Windows 7 and Fedora or Corora, the remix of Fedora 20 on it, I think it was, and it was way faster than my machines, but you could. And I did a bunch of video on it because I made a bunch of how-to videos for them. I did like 20 some odd videos for them, and I don't think they watched any of them. It's an older person that didn't get into computers at all until they were. I'm talking about my mom's age lady, but not my mom. I did that for my mom too, back in Fedora 13 and 14, but this was another lady. I could never charge enough to do that, and I wouldn't do that much again for somebody. People don't realize what all you're doing for them. They don't even appreciate it. I worked on that for 3.5 months on that and her laptop, setting up every little detail, all the add-ons for the browsers. Had to do Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, and Windows, and then Chrome and Firefox and Corora, Fedora. And I can't even think of all the things. I don't even want to think of all the stuff I did. I mean, I enjoy doing that sort of stuff, but I always go overboard and I do too much. Kind of like right. Come on. This is crazy. I never dreamed that it would, but you got to do each step. You can't skip. Like, I'm going to get rid of those quotation marks. I'm going to get rid of all. I can see there's some double spaces in there. Got to get rid of the double spaces, but you got to do each section at a time, or you will get screwed up. So you got to pick an order, whatever you think will work out to your goal the best. And it seems that I've figured that I think this getting rid of the hard returns first seems to work out really well. I've kind of gone back and forth between getting rid of the double spaces or the quotes first. But I'm kind of noticing that with the quotation marks, I can see where each app, begins and ends real easily. So what I'm planning on doing is getting rid of all the double spaces. Then I'll get rid of the quotes. And you don't use regular expressions. You use, your two spaces replaced with one space. Double quote replace. I usually end up doing that. So replace with nothing, and then it's all gone. Gosh, I can't believe this. I'm starting to get memories of how long it took to do this before. I don't know why it's doing one space at a time like that instead of all of them. I say all, but it goes to one, and then I wonder. Find all. Okay, I'm gonna go look at. I may be going chasing my tail here. I might be going in circles somehow. I'm almost starting to. Oh, there's one right there. One time. Two times. Okay, I think we're getting there now. Find all. One time. Find all. And if it keeps doing one time over and over again, I'm wise to that trick. One time. See, what it normally does is get to the point that it says no more of these are found. Okay, search key not found. Do it again. Find all, search key not found. You're done. That's what I was looking for before. I'm going to leave that open so that I can. But if you go all the way to the bottom of that thing, you should not. I can't. You can kind of look at overall and sort of see, but you really can't see whether or not there's any double spaces in there. But you have to trust your program, and you'll know you'll get errors if your script has. If you have any double or triple spaces or anything, your script won't run right, and you'll know. Okay, now, but quotation marks, you want to replace it with nothing this time, so you're going to take that space out of there. Find all. Of course, there's plenty of those. And it's still searching, I believe, because that's why I hit find all, because it'll make those, once it gets done searching, it'll make them blue. I make little blue marks on them like it has been doing, and then you'll know that it's done. You could just hit replace all, but I don't know, it just makes me feel a little better kind of knowing what's happening. See, that way I have a chance to say, uh-oh, I hit the wrong thing I put the wrong thing up there in my search and replace. If it shows up something other than what you expect. Moving around, I bet that sounds great. Okay, sure, it's taking a long time though, isn't it? I did hit, I hit find all, I can see that. Just go look at all my stuff. Yeah, not only, I wonder if the stream had died and came back again. Yeah, it says stream resumed. It sure did. Keep thinking that maybe I'm going to close that program that I'm not using. This thing could use every little bit of help it can get here. Boy, it ain't done searching yet, is it? See, it's not even responding right now. Which is normal when it's searching. I can hear the fan running a little harder on it, so I know it's working hard. See, everything's fine in my remote desktop window. But in the application window there, I can't page. Oh, there it goes. Now I can page down finally. Be careful about clicking around. You might mess up your. There. Now, see, they're all blued in, and it kind of looks more like, you can kind of tell there's all just single spaces in there. So we hit replace all, and it'll take a minute to do that. When you have a whole lot of stuff, it takes it a little longer. You see your apps, as you can see, almost all of them say i686. So this would not be a good script for a 64-bit system. They might install and then upgrade on, like when you did a Yum update, but I think I actually did it without paying attention before and got a bunch of errors. I can't remember for sure. I'll just have to wait here for that to finish. First time you do this, you probably don't want to do it on a system with 3,500 apps or whatever, 44,000 apps. I want to do it on something that's got a little less. Get the hang of doing it, because it took some trial and error for me to learn how to do this and figure out how to do this. Now let's see. Yeah, I need to be a good YouTube video maker. I need to put my links to that blog post on this video. Of course, it's turned out to be so long. If I don't edit it, I doubt anybody will watch the thing. But I've been doing this for quite a few years, since like I said, since Fedora, at least 13, probably 12 or before even. I don't remember when I discovered how to do it. I discovered it actually like around the time of Fedora 6 or 7. No, it was 9, because when 9 Blag, I was using Blag. It's what I learned Linux on, and it runs on. It was a remix of Fedora. There it is, Blag Linux. Okay, I'm gonna hit OK 7,846 times. That's why it took a while. Find all again, make sure there's not any more. Search key not found. Okay. So I was running Blag 9 broke and it wouldn't work. So then I had this. I didn't care. I didn't want to go. I looked at Fedora, but they didn't come with very many apps, and I didn't know how to do this. So I thought, well, I want to start from scratch and build all, because Blag had a lot of apps, and I'd added a whole lot to it and learned quite a bit over about 2 or 3 years there, And so I got to looking around, and I'd been reading and trying out every Linux distro that looked interesting to me. So I decided to go switch to Debian Artist X. It was the first year they came out with Artist X, if you ever heard of that. It's a multimedia distro for audio and video editing and playing and recording and everything, and it runs on Ubuntu now. And I don't like Ubuntu. I don't really like anything about it except for Debian, which is what it runs on, based on. And so what you did is you installed a Debian etch-and-a-half system, and then it gave you a list of apps like this, and you an app get install and copy and paste that list of apps in there. And since they'd already figured out everything that would work, it worked perfectly. It installed every single one of them. That's when I learned how to do an apps install list. They didn't tell you how to make a script. They just told you put app, I think it was app get install space, I don't remember exactly how you had to do it, and then copy and paste all those apps. They had it on their website in there, and it said, and it'll get you about 98-99%. And it did. Worked really well. And I ran that for about 2 years, and then I started realizing that it was staying behind on Flash, and I was wanting to watch videos that wouldn't work and stuff like that online. So I went back to Fedora, and I started really learning Fedora. And since I already had learned how to make an apps list, I started learning how to run, work in Yum. I was like, oh, hey, I think I could make one. And somewhere I learned those simple little commands you put at the front to make a script that you can. I'm spelling that right, aren't I? Try something else. Maybe I'm gone crazy and I forgot how to spell NVIDIA. Okay, well, my point being, if you want to find an app, say like I want to find VLC, or you want to see what all VLC apps are going to be installed. Well, when you can see now there's VLC. When you can see, you can just keep hitting next, you know. Well, you've got to hit, anyway, different apps work differently, but there's VLC. That'll be installed. Be careful because you can edit it. I think I'll make sure I hit close without saving. There's VLC core, VLC extra. See that all that stuff that it took me time to find, and I couldn't remember again. And other things that I have no idea what the name of them are, but I know what they do, you know, or what that file is, you know. Logic fonts, you know, all this junk that I've found over the years. You can imagine it took me years to find and decide I wanted to use 4,000 applications. Of course, like I said, probably half or more than half of them are dependencies that you really don't see in the front end of your machine, and you wouldn't be able to type them into the command line and run them either. But anyway, sometimes you can, even in the package manager, they're pretty good, but once in a while you have to install those dependencies separately on some apps that aren't, I guess you'd say, really heavily developed or well developed, or however you want to say it. Or they're new, generally with new stuff. So, there you go. That's how I do an install script. And you can do that in Debian, but if you do it down and dirty like this, it will hang up and not run. You got to really know that everything you put in that list works together, doesn't conflict. There's no skip broken in Debian. That's why it won't work. There's no skip broken in the new DNF. So now this thing I'm showing here is going to maybe end up being obsolete before we know it, because without skip broken, this will just hang up. Or you can sit there and answer it yourself, but if you've got 4,500 apps that you're installing, do you want to sit there and say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, or yes, 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 yes? So that's why you do why all, and that's why you do skip broken. That's why I do it. I say you. It's not what everybody does. I don't talk to everybody. I don't talk to people. I don't chat. I don't do all that stuff. I just mess with computers. So I don't know what everybody does other than what I see when I'm looking for help and, you know, how to do something, and I kind of get the gist of how they do stuff, you know. But I'm clicking like crazy. The stream health is really good. Must have restarted recently. It continues on. I mean, I can't believe this turned out to be an hour and 17-minute video, but there it is. And hopefully, when I will get back to. There's I don't know if you're not familiar with Crusader File Manager, you might see why I like it so much from watching me use it there. Of course, it looks really weird not being able to see the whole screen, but save link as. That's how you save them. And I also have links to. I have all my music on .org. You can go there, and this, you know, pretty much not much else on the site, on the music portion of it. Oh, I was going to show you that reloading thing. I hit back and it's taking a while. Oh, let's see. I'm going to click on this one now. That was my first album. I started, I sing, and some friends of mine did the music. Sing and write lyrics, or I did. I haven't done it in a long time. so this is called that. I set up this outsmart hackers, companies, and governments. That's your special Avast pop-up. Okay. Well, this is reloading the page you're on, but what it's been doing is reloading, going back to, whoops, back to the home page. Well, that didn't matter. Okay, so that is, now let's go here. Fish, oh, that's Fish Co. I don't know how that got in. Fish, I can't type. I hate it when something gets in there that you don't want to ever go back to. There it is, bishopco.com. Okay, now watch where it goes. bishopco.us.2. That's my DNS forwarding free domain name. This is all you really would have to have, but I've had these other domain names for years. So anywhere you go now from here on, like so now I'm going to go to Dawn Songs on that link there. Now you're going to see exactly where it really is on the server. You can see it already. It hadn't got there yet, but and oddly enough, my dawnsongs.com basically disappeared out of Google. I mean, it's down to several page or 2 or 3 when it used to come up on the first page. And I mean, if I search for Dawn, I used to could search for Dawn Songs and I would be the top 3 spaces. Now there's some famous guy. He's famous, I found out, but in India that learned somebody learned how to do his page so that it's the first 2 pages, everything, all his YouTube videos, his pages, everything, and but I know that's got a lot to do with me hiding. It's not considered a top level domain. I don't know why I'm getting into all this, but that is anyway. DNS caching server. It's inactive and dead. Okay, now that's the part of it. That's part of it right there. Oh, there it is. That's the main one. Inactive, dead. So it's not set up. Berkeley Internet domain. Berkeley Internet name domain DNS. Berkeley Internet. See, there's 2 parts to it there. That's going to have to be all up and running, and I got to learn how to administrate it and all that stuff. See, that stuff doesn't, most of that stuff doesn't set up by default. You got to set it up. So, you know, if I don't get it going, it won't hurt anything because it's not running. It won't degrade my performance or anything. So I kind of figured, well, over the years I've just I kind of have a clue before I install this stuff whether or not it's gonna, like I wouldn't install, I've tried out a bunch of different brands of servers, you know, besides Apache and different things, it's media servers and everything else, and you know, I got a bunch of that junk running on my Fedora 14 system. I used it for a test bed, and it started slowing it down, so I had to start finding them and turning them off, you know, because I had them set to start and run. And then I'd forget about them sometimes, that I didn't really I never used them, but they were still running. And so anyway, I was careful not to install things out, any other regular web servers, for instance, stuff like that. Actually, not a lot to choose from in the way Fedora server installers. You really, they don't give you the chance to mess up too bad, really. Plymouth switch root service. That was one of the things that. Let's see what they look like now. Plymouth. Okay, it all says inactive and dead. So they run. What they do is that's what I from the beginning. They run at boot and then they shut down, like, you know, like it should. So I guess I'd have to click on them. I don't think I ever turned on that switch root service, but now it's working, see? But all it took was that, I guess it took running that other install command to get some more apps installed. It looked like it just did it all, really. It did a whole bunch. That thinks to me that I got part of it installed with the @mate and then another part installed with that longer command. It's really weird. But every one of the Plymouth things are inactive, dead. I think of it as being bad, like broken, but dead's not broken. I think what they're basically inactive, dead, or synonyms. That's what I'm finally catching on here. I guess I already knew that, and I just didn't pay much attention. You definitely wouldn't want the power off screen. But what I was wondering, okay, it is still enabled. So all that stuff that I before I was disabled and I had to enable it, or I thought I did, and so maybe I did need to do that. Some of that other stuff that I skipped intuitively that I didn't really need to make them enabled. Yeah, there's some, see that they've been some logs of it being run. So I don't know, maybe what I did enabling that stuff actually did help, because they're still enabled. Well, of course, that command I read may have enabled. See, some of them I can't get it to drag down. Sometimes they just stop, but it shouldn't. The normal settings. See, I can't even get it to move or anything. So there's something wrong. There's no. I selected the theme that's supposed to have the X and the square and the minus, so that you can do all the things you want to do with it. There's only one way to close it though, is do File Close. Anyway, it shouldn't be going up and covering up my toolbar up there. So I'm going to reboot this one, get it back into the Fedora 21 so that it can be my server, because that blue FIC Pentium 4 is hot and loud, and it's right next to my bed, and I do not want to ever have that running on that long. Otherwise it'd be a good server, but I think it'd probably use a lot more power, a lot more electricity than this Celeron. Yeah, okay, boot into that, and then I can go over there to the blue FIC or whatever. Well, I might try it from the laptop. Get into my, I can do it from there. Get into my router, because I had to use my cable. I have to share this monitor and USB cable that goes to my KVM switch. I have to share it with the blue FIC and the laptop, and it's it gets to be a pain swapping it back and forth, because I got 4 ports and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 desktops, tower desktops, and then the old-fashioned desktop under the desk, which I'm not using. It used to be my server. Then I have 2 laptops in here. I use this laptop every night to watch my TV shows and stuff. The other laptop I kind of use once in a while when I take it somewhere. It's got Fedora 17 on it still. I need to, and XP, which actually that XP can come in handy once in a while for some old apps that you don't run on anything but that, or don't run well on anything but that. And Fedora 17, it's really not much good at all. It's just too outdated. Web browser won't do really anything. It's kind of hanging up, seems. Hanging up on that IOAPCI bug. Oh, there it goes. Okay, good. I thought I had a problem. Log it in here. Get this thing logged in. And let's see, do I know the IP address? It's one router. It will once in a while just decide to change the IP addresses. It doesn't have an easy way or a way to one that this is on to set it to always. Every other router I got, you can set it to always give each computer or whatever computers you want the same IP address. And always there's something broken there on the way the desktop background shows up, and it bugs me, so I always fix it by just simply opening up the desktop, changing application, and then closing it. And as soon as you open it, it fixes it. If you don't, it'll stay that way for until you do it. It looks like it's out of memory or something. Really weird. Well, you can watch it change. Well, I don't know if you can see what's going on really, but you can probably tell. All I did was open it up and close it. IP address. Yep, 101. So that's what I'll have to change that router to. Get back over here. I'll go back to desktop. Come on now. Come back home. Talking to my mouse. My cursor. I'm not cursing it, even though it's cursing me. Okay, we can not do that, but I will use this browser. Let's see. I think I will close. No, I don't close anything yet. I'll end up closing something I don't want closed yet. Get confused. I'm tired enough. I am confused right now. Okay, let's see. I'm on desktop. I do still have a stream. Okay, so I'm on this machine, which can get to either router. 192. Still has old addresses in it from the router that well, it's running. I just don't hardly ever get into it. Now, I guess you may recognize the Linksys routers. Okay, this is going to be, that one's called, you know, the name doesn't actually matter in there, but I like to 101, right? Yep. And I don't do my FTP or my remote desktop on the internet. It's only well, since it's behind the other router, this router's behind the other router, and that one, the FTP and the remote desktop ports are not exposed to the internet. That router, the other router, only points to ports 80. So it comes through that first router to this router, and these ports are all open, but that other router doesn't have anything open but port 80. So that's how I protect my remote desktop for that particular machine. That way I can that is the one way I can get to a machine on this router with FTP and remote desktop, but it's only one machine at a time. I can change that, you know, to different machine, different IP address. Once in a while those will change automatically. I have to pay attention to that because that means my web server will be down. So once I get this finished, I should be able to get rid of an AMD Core 2. It's really noticeably faster too. It's only got 2 gig of RAM, and it'll still run circles around this one with 3 gig of RAM and a 1.8 box. You can't see that. That's the one I was talking about. The well, the machine that you're looking at. This is running Windows 7 right now, which I just did that because I actually got that machine. It had a bad motherboard, and I took the parts and trade for part of the labor for building that new system I've been talking about, that 6-core AMD. This was a dual-core AMD, and so it just turned out that this motherboard would work with that dual-core processor. Work anything from AM3 plus, AM3s, AM2s, AM2 plus, all Superons, F-Long 64s. 64s. So that's why I got it. It was like $50 basically. Where's the somewhere? Okay, AM3 plus FX. It'll run on those. It'll run those. You got to have the exact. You got to look at that model number, and you got to get the right processor. It's not all of the AM3 FXs, but it will take up to an 8-core, and you can put 2 sticks of DDR3 in there and have 8 gig of memory. So that's a very upgradable. But it's okay. You know, it's nothing special the way it is right now. It's a I don't remember what the processor. It is in this list, but it's that's the same thing in the ODS file. eMachines AS Rock Info. I don't know why I'm going into this. I have supported memory file in here somewhere too. And there's what's cool is they do give you they make it easy for you to find this stuff. I don't know what I've got stuff in there, but I thought I was in the folder. There's just about the AS Rock, but seems like there's other junk in that folder. But anyway, CPU-Z, that's what I was thinking about. Rogue. CPU-Z Rogue, they all give you the same information. Maybe it has to open with CPU-Z or something. I don't know. I don't remember. I know I've opened that file surely at least once. But anyway, I'm gonna close that. Now, what did I do? Did I close the thing? I think I closed that whole. Yeah, I did. I accidentally closed the. That's just the. I need to do that anyway, so I can quit. Okay, so that can be useful, you know. I mean, that thing. It's good to have. It was good to have around, even though I bought it on mistake, because it could work from all those different processors and quite a bit of different memory. The only thing is be great for like when you're not trying to build a, you know, I mean, well, there ain't nothing wrong with 8-core and 8 gig of RAM. There's nothing wrong with that. So, and it's adequate. I mean, you can slow it down pretty easy with dual core and 2 gig of RAM. And that's the one drawback. You like put 4 gig of RAM in it, you know. I mean, you wouldn't want to. You could. But if you're going to go buy new RAM, why don't you just go ahead and get all the way up to 8 gig, you know. That's what I would do. But I hate to buy 8 gig of DDR2 for that dual core processor. I really want to, you know, I could get 6 core for like when they go on sale real cheap, or even a quad, you know. And that's probably what I'll do one day. I just don't like that box. It's an eMachines box. It's ugly. And it's got a darn card reader that won't work for nothing. It won't work in XP, I mean Windows 7. It won't work in I've had Linux running on it, and it wasn't Fedora. It wouldn't run. Corora, I believe, is what I had on it, because I actually set it up real quick. Well, I started setting it up for myself, got it up and running, and then I ended up taking it back over there to the lady to use while I was building her new system, and because she has trouble with her laptop. It was a Vista laptop. I spent 2 weeks cleaning viruses out of hardware info. Let's see what it says about the memory. I didn't say nothing. That's not a full report. There's one hardware lister. That's going to make it open up Firefox. It's alright, I guess. Take it a minute though. Wonder if I can see that enough to Now, I can't see my laptop well enough to change it over without flipping over there. Well, you can read it no matter what. But it's, this is an IBM 8085 C9U ThinkCenter A50 32-bit, and this is the server I've been working on all this time, and it's 2.53 gigahertz. I'm sorry, it's not 2.8 gigahertz. Celeron, something I thought was 2.8 gigahertz. So that's not much difference than 2.4 gigahertz Pentium 4. Memory. Two gigabytes, what it's looking like it's got. And I paid close attention and got the fastest memory I could get that this machine would run. It would actually run, if I remember up, faster memory than the other one. I'm trying to find the actual memory information. Doing a search through here. Try RAM. No. DRAM. Yeah, there's 3 banks. I thought there was. Its third bank is empty. It's just plain DDR memory. And the sticks are 1 gig. Yes. What? This must be an old report. It says bank 1, 1 gig. Bank 2, empty. Bank 3, empty. And I know it's not like... Oh, maybe I bought a 2 gig stick. Maybe that's what I did. It says 2 gigabyte. But I believe 2 gig is all it'll handle. I don't know why I did that. I guess because of the price. I think I got a 2 gig stick for $10. Yeah, I guess that is what I did. So, I was thinking maybe it had 3 gig or something. But I'm pretty sure that all these old machines, they won't take, there's, the BIOS won't recognize any more than 2 gig. And that's what the motherboard manuals say, is that, that the max you can put in them. I still keep wondering, if I had an extra stick, I would stick it in there sometime. Actually, I may have an extra one. Stick it in there and see if the operating system will see it and use it. Because I know these Linux operating systems will use that much,